I'm Howard Watson, and here's your host, Richard Blackwell.
Thank you, Howard, and welcome to Jazz on My Mind, Coast to Coast. I'm Richard Blackwell. I'd like to thank each of you for joining us for our third season of broadcasting jazz performances and jazz chats with the legends, current and upcoming jazz stars. Get ready because we've got a great show on hand for you tonight. With us this evening is Nathan Jacobs and the Muzaholics. They're going to be performing some out-of-sight jazz a little bit later on. But first, let me introduce you to two young ladies who are the biggest jazz enthusiasts in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Linda Sobieski and her mom, Marian Allen, to Jazz on My Mind. Come on over here, ladies. You know, I got to tell you, ladies, first of all, I'm so happy to have you back on the show because when I say the biggest jazz enthusiast, I mean that without a doubt. You two, I'm glad on the show because we broadcast this show from Wilmington, Delaware, which I have called the jazz capital of the world. And you two ladies helped mold this many, many years ago. Mom did. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you, this is a mother and daughter team, and they are some great, great jazz fans. Linda, first of all, let's begin with you. Let's talk about how this all began for you and for Mom. How did this all come about?
Mom had a little restaurant at 14th and King. She served breakfast and lunch. There was a local beer garden, plain old beer garden next door. And then one day she got off the phone and she said, I just bought Joe Doris's bar. And I'm like, oh. So after that started the whole thing. Because It was no longer a beer garden. It became Marian's Cocktail Lounge. And I've been enjoying the new series on NBC, the Playboy Bunny Club. And just today I thought, Mom had the same kind of club right here in Wilmington.
Yeah.
Because there's music all the time. There were no rules. If you wanted to come in, you were in.
Yeah.
You wanted to play music, you play. Everybody was there for the same reason.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful thing.
Wow. Mom, what was the name of the club again? What was the name of it? You should put your microphone up to
The San Souci.
The San Souci.
Means without a care.
And where was the location again?
14th and King Street.
Wow. Now, I saw not a picture, but you actually designed. Tell us about that design that you had. It was a design of the building.
No one ever did it. No one ever got a photograph of the buildings from like across the street so you could see what the buildings look like. So I was at a needle pointing rage one time, and I decided to just needle point the corner for my mother's for Christmas.
And it is an absolute beautiful piece. We got to show it
It's
one
pretty-
day
yeah, it's
on Jazz.
pretty neat.
It's incredible, ladies and gentlemen. It's a picture of the actual building that was there. And what year again was that?
Mom started, what, 56? 55.
Wow, it's incredible. We're going to have to show that sometime in the future. We'll make it so that...
And the buildings are still there.
but not looking the same.
Not
but
looking the same,
They're,
no.
they're there.
Yeah.
Now, you guys, you ladies, I should say, were so big in getting jazz started because I know a lot of artists who were on their way to New York or to Philadelphia. They stopped at your spot to perform. Give some of the names of some of the artists who came through and graced your facility.
I remember Roberta Flack, her brother, moved in our apartment when we moved out. Yeah, Mom had... It was kind of funny because the street was known as Lawyers Row.
Mm-hmm.
So all the lawyers naturally hung out, and they came back in the evening with their dates, their wives, and their instruments. And Mom, the phone rang all the time for everybody else in town looking for musicians. And they told Mom that should be her side business, booking musicians. Because people call, hey, we need a bass player for this, or we need somebody for that.
Right.
So they knew where they were hanging.
Right.
They were there at the Sands, you know.
Well, you know, that had to make you feel good to be in the middle of everything that was going on. That had to be fantastic.
I
for
can't
you.
believe she had music 4 nights a week,
4 nights a week.
live music, and the place.
Wow.
And God only knows what happened on weekends. I wasn't there on weekends.
Now, I remember now, ladies and gentlemen, these two ladies have been on the show before, our past 2 seasons. And I remember, Linda, you shared a story with me about the police officer.
Ah.
Tell the audience about that particular situation.
We were lucky. Lem Winchester worked
Great vote.
our neighborhood.
Yeah.
It was his beat.
Yeah.
And he kept his vibes in Mom's Club. And back then, they had call boxes on the corner. So I just remember one day, I was always peeking in the club for one reason or another, and I saw Lem at the window, those eyes of his. He was wearing the bucket raincoat hat that the policeman wore.
Mm-hmm.
And if the bartender, Ole, gave him the high sign, he would go across the street, get on the call box, and say, I have an emergency at home. I'll be off the beat 45 minutes. and then he'd come into the stands, go in the men's room. Someone would change, give him a jacket, sports jacket.
Right, to go over his uniform.
And then he'd come out and play. But, you know, if he moved his arm, he was still packing, you know. And then one of the lawyers was also taking lessons with him. So then I think you had 2 sets of vibes in there at one time.
Wow.
With Gerald and Lem. Because, you know, Gerald was studying with Lem.
Yeah.
But
Now
that was to have Lem just pop in.
And
It
just
was
started.
great.
That's amazing.
It was just great.
I
yeah.
love that story. Now, when Jazz on My Mind came here from Los Angeles in 2009, ladies and gentlemen,
Thank goodness.
Linda Sobieski and her mother were some of the first people that I met. I was in the middle of promoting jazz, which I do at the Basil every Thursday night.
I
And
got that story.
And I was just passing flyers out, and this young lady, Linda, says to me, "Hey, you're promoting jazz."
I'm like, hey, that's my job.
And that's where
And that's
our
where we met.
relationship, and it's been a wonderful relationship ever since the beginning. I just want to thank you as
The
well.
more the merrier.
Now, Marian, can I call you Mom?
Sure, everybody else does. I am Mom.
You are Mom. Hold the mic up, Mom. Hold the mic up. There you go. Now, jazz that's happening now in Wilmington, how does it compare, or does it compare, to the jazz that was happening when you had your spot back then? How does it compare?
Not in my mind it doesn't.
Yeah,
What I have is so original,
right.
and you never knew who was going to come in.
Spontaneous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And anybody who didn't already have a gig, they would hang out in the stands
yeah.
because they knew, there's always musicians. I had a piano bar.
Yeah. So there are always musicians there.
Yeah.
How does it feel now to still be a part of it in this wonderful city, the jazz capital of the world, Wilmington, Delaware? Because you're still a part of it. You still get to make your rounds. You get to the Nomad. You get here to the Paradise. How does it feel to still be able to get around and enjoy that?
Been to Basil.
And the Basil, you've been to my
Yeah.
spot, the Basil. How does it feel to you to be able to get around and still enjoy that?
We're glad that there are places to go, because for a while we're like, where can we go?
Yeah.
We didn't want to go
There
to
was
Philly.
no place.
There was no, okay.
And that's why we kind of started the Thursday night at Glue shows, because we didn't
Yeah.
want to drive to Philly.
Yeah.
And then we were glad you came to town.
Yeah.
And then we were glad the Nomad opened.
Yeah, so it's like bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we
All at
want.
once.
Yeah. Well, hopefully with Jazz on My Mind and the other venues that are opening, and hopefully we can be consistent and stay open so that this music we love can be played.
I'm
That's the
optimistic
name of the game.
because
That's it.
so many young people are into it.
Yeah, I
That's
think it's
the
going to happen.
greatest.
It's all about
Oh,
keeping
that's
jazz alive.
the greatest. And they are.
Yeah. Now, your situation, Mom, we're going to talk to Linda, because when I called Linda and asked her to be on the show, Linda said, oh, by the way, I have a group. We're performing. Linda, tell the Jazz on My Mind audience about your jazz band that you had put together. What's happening with that?
Well, I used to sing all the songs in my head.
Yeah.
And then there was a time I was married to someone who played piano, so he said, what do you want to do? And I told him, he said, I knew you'd be like this. Particular, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, and I used to give up a lot, because if you ask a musician, do you want to have a rehearsal? Do you have a gig? I can't get a gig unless we have a rehearsal. It was that. So
Yeah.
I'd say, forget it. But now, Dick Gratton plays a great jazz guitar back there.
He's
This
in the audience
Roberta
tonight.
Washington
Yeah,
back
wonderful
there,
guitars.
the
Wonderful.
percussionist supreme. And Charles Beasley agreed
Great
to play with us
bassist,
too.
yeah.
So all we do are jazz standards and some bebop.
I hope to get you on Jazz on My Mind in the very near future so that we can not only speak with you, we can hear you perform.
I'm all for it.
And we are as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Marian for coming. Mom, it's good to have you back again. And I got to get you back again. And Linda.
It's good to have you in town.
And it's wonderful to be here, and it's good to have you two as my friends. Ladies
Got your back, Richard.
I knew you do. Ladies and gentlemen, Marian Allen and Linda Sobieski, some great jazz enthusiasts who help mold jazz here in the city of Wilmington. All right. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up, we're going to have a jazz chat with tonight's musical guests, the Muzaholics. But first, I want you to get your pen and paper ready because now it's time for This Week in Jazz for the West Coast. So get that pen and paper because I got some really good events for you. Let's start with the biggest spot for jazz on the West Coast, and that happens to be the Catalina Bar and Grill, located at 6725 Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles. Now on Thursday night, October 6th, it's the Fabiana Pisani Band, and they're going to be performing some great jazz. That's Thursday, October 6th at the Catalina Bar and Grill. And on Saturday at the Catalina Bar and Grill, October 8th, it's Jason Lee Brunn's Jazz Collective. And they're going to be playing some out-of-sight jazz. And you know, the Catalina Bar and Grill always has some outstanding jazz happening. For more jazz information and event times, just call the Catalina Bar and Grill at area code 323-466-2210. That's the Catalina Bar and Grill. Also, there's always some hot jazz happening at the new jazz spot in Los Angeles, and it's called Nola's. Now, Nola will definitely give you some great jazz and a taste of New Orleans. They're located at 734 East 3rd in Los Angeles. For jazz events, you can call Nola's at area code 213-680-3003. And also for some exciting jazz performances, be sure to check out one of my favorite jazz spots in LA, the World Stage. They're located at 4344 Degnan Boulevard in LA. For jazz events and showtimes, call the World Stage at area code 323-299-2451. And be sure to tell my good friend Matt Gibson we said hello. And for all of our wonderful viewers in the Midwest area, Chicago has an outstanding jazz club, and it's called Close Up 2. There's always some fantastic smooth jazz happening. So for events and jazz time, call Close Up 2 at area code 312-385-1111. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, for live jazz events from coast to coast, be sure to log on to jazzonmymind.com. All right. Keep that pen and paper handy. It's coming up soon. I got your East Coast events for This Week in Jazz. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome tonight's musical guests. Come on over here, gentlemen. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for the Muzaholics. Let's welcome them to Jazz on My Mind. There's a microphone there. Come on down, gentlemen. All right. All right. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the Muzaholics, they're going to be performing tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce these wonderful guys to you. This is the one and only Mr. Nathan Jacobs. You met Nathan last week. Also, next to Nathan is Gil. Next to Gil is Jerry. And then we have the gentleman on your window, the Muzaholics. It's good to have you back, Nathan. You were on last week promoting this week's performance. Talk about the group and what are you guys going to be doing tonight?
All right, great. First, I want to say, Richard, thank you for having us back on.
It's my pleasure. My pleasure.
Tonight. And, we come just to share some of our musical gifts tonight. First, again, you gave a wonderful, warm introduction for the brothers we have. But I just want to say again, I want to thank my brothers here, Elder Gilbert Ham, Jerry Stringer, Wendell Flow Music Floyd, for stepping out. And tonight, ultimately, what we're going to do is transfer our personalities through our musical gifts. So we're going to touch on some standard jazz. We're going to touch on some renditions of gospel songs that we work as well. Richard Smallwood's Total Praise. We have an original song called God's Son, inspired by Wendell Flow Music Floyd, right here, and a few other pieces. So we're going to have some fun. That's what we look forward to doing.
Well, you know, gentlemen, I want you to know that Nathan gave you guys a big push-up last week. He talked about how wonderful you guys work together, how you are one cohesive unit, and it comes from the spirit. You guys are spiritually connected as well. If you don't mind, Gil, talk about some of the music that goes on in the Muzaholics. How would you classify it, or is there a classification?
Well, I think the one thing about us is that being able to play different genres, and I think the inspiration comes from the fact of our relationship with each other, and so it makes it a lot easier to play together and to kind of flow really together. And so rehearsals are generally times where we just come together and just taking different thoughts from different genres and kind of intertwining them together. And so we can take a cover tune or something like that, and just kind of make it our own.
There you go.
And I think the great thing about playing with these gentlemen is that because we are so connected or we're intertwined, it makes it easier to be able to move from genre to genre without having a lot of issues. So I think that's one of the things I believe that makes our music unique.
Yeah. Now you play keyboards.
Yes.
How long have you been playing the keyboards?
I've been playing keys now for about 18 years.
Who are some of the people that inspired you in your musical progression?
When I first got started, a gentleman, actually a drummer, gave me a tape of Bobby Lyles.
Wow, an old friend of mine.
Yes,
that's a good friend of mine.
That was sort of my entry into keyboards and into jazz interpretations.
Wow, it's a beautiful mentor. Bobby Lyles, like I said, I used to play his music on the radio in Los Angeles when he had the Genie, one of his biggest LPs back in the late 70s. So wonderful mentor for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jerry, let's talk to you about your bass playing, Jerry. How long have you been playing the bass?
Well, I've been playing the bass for over 20 years now.
Wow. Okay.
I started when I was about 10 years old. I became professional around about 15 years old. Did my first live recording, and from that point on, it's just I ran into guys like these guys, and
it's been beautiful.
Yes.
Who were some of the people that inspired your bass playing?
Well, starting out, really, I'm just learning from different people in the neighborhood. Then once I really got into it, I learned about people like Jocko, Marcus Miller. That's where I really got my style from, and then I just incorporated it to my own style.
Beautiful.
Yes.
All right. And the gentleman on the end, Wendell.
Yes, sir.
Wendell, you play the lead guitar.
Yes, sir.
How's it feel to play with such outstanding and wonderful brothers as Nathan and Jerry and Gil?
Well, pretty much we all grew up together, shedding. So I think that's pretty much why we communicate on our instruments very well, because pretty much we grew up and we grew together. So that's very important, having that relationship, with God, the Creator. But when you come together as one, you're family. So that makes it all the better.
Well, we're looking forward to hearing your music tonight because I'm telling you guys, I've heard your music. I've heard Nathan gave me one of your cuts, and I listened to it, and I was like totally blown away. You guys are outstanding. Now, how long have you been together, the Muzaholics? How long have you been together?
This unit, we've been together consistently since 2007.
Okay. Gil, where are you from?
I'm actually from Chester, PA.
Chester, PA?
Yes.
What about you, Jerry?
Chester.
Chester?
Yes.
And Wendell?
I'm originally from Chester as well.
Well, you know what? It's wonderful how the Lord can grace people with the understanding of why we're together. You gentlemen obviously have a purpose, and that's why you're together. And just like any other situation where you have a relationship, you got to have a purpose. And your purpose definitely is there, is magnified, and we're looking forward to hearing it in your music tonight. All right, gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Muzaholics. The Muzaholics. our musical guests for tonight. All right, gentlemen. See you in a few minutes. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned because the Muzaholics are going to be coming on with their live performance tonight. But first, right now, I hope you got that pen and paper handy because it's time for me to give you the jazz events for this week in jazz. Let's start with tomorrow night. Now, this is all the jazz happening on the East Coast. Let's begin with tomorrow night at my spot for jazz. It's called Basil Bar and Grill, located inside the Sheraton Hotel at 422 Delaware Avenue in Wilmington, Delaware. Now, we've got a great jazz party for you each and every Thursday night. So if you're in the tri-state area, we invite each and every one of you to come on down to Basil. Now, tomorrow night, our musical guests will be Richard Tucker and the Universal Concept. They're going to be there performing tomorrow night at Basil. And the jazz party begins at 8 p.m. And the night, of course, is hosted by yours truly. So come on down. We hope to see you there. And every Friday and Saturday night is jazz at its finest at the Nomad Bar and Grill, located at 905 North Orange in Wilmington, Delaware. Now, you can find out who's going to perform at the Nomad by calling them at area code 302. And the number is 655-8800. That's 302-655-8800. It's the hot new jazz spot on the East Coast, and it's called the Nomad. And on each and every Sunday, it's the world-famous jazz brunch at Warm Daddy's, located at 1400 Columbus Avenue in Philadelphia. Now, the food is always delicious, and the music is out of sight at Warm Daddy's. For jazz information, call 215-462-2000. Warm Daddy's in Philadelphia. And if you want to hear some great jazz on the radio, you got to turn on my friend Fawnay. She's on the radio every Monday morning from 2 until 5 a.m. She's on WPFW, which is 89.3 FM out of Washington, D.C. You can listen to Fawnay anywhere in the world by logging on to WPFW.org. Do that and listen to my friend Fawnay with some great jazz. And if you want some good jazz on a Monday night, we've got that too. You can check out the Tony Williams Monday Night Jazz Jam, and that's at the La Rose Social Club. And their address, 5531 Germantown Avenue in Philadelphia. Show begins at 6 and on until 11 p.m. That's Tony Williams at the La Rose Social Club. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, once again, for the best jazz events from coast to coast, be sure to log on to Jazz on My Mind. Now, don't move. Coming up next, the jazz music is going to be happening from the Muzaholics. But first, I want to let you know, if you have a taste for some delicious Caribbean food, then I must hip you to the Paradise Palms. They're located downtown Wilmington, Delaware at 901 North King. Now, the food here at the Paradise Palms is the best in the world. It's all because the head chef, Mr. Wendell, prepares every dish with the love of Jamaica. Dishes like jerk chicken, baked fish, greens, cabbage, red beans and rice, and so much more. So when your taste buds say Caribbean, it's gotta be the Paradise Palms. For more information, you can call the Paradise Palms at area code 302, and the number is 377-2528. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Paradise Palms. Now, everyone, let's put your hands together and let's welcome on bass Jerry Smith, on lead guitar Wendell Floyd, On keyboards, Gil Ham. And on drums, Mr. Nathan Jacobs. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and let's welcome the Muzaholics on Jazz on My Mind. and gentlemen, the Muzaholics. Do me a favor, Gil. I want you to stand up, and I'm going to move that chair on over here. And I want you to take this microphone for me, please. Wendell, come on in. Nathan, also Jerry, come on in. Come on in. Man, ladies and gentlemen, one more time. Let's give a big hand to the Muzaholics. Yeah, man. Woo, great job. I'm telling you, that song, the songs that you gentlemen just played, some of them were original songs.
Yes.
What were the titles, if you can remember, in the succession that you played them? What were the names?
The first one was God's Son, and that was inspired by our wonderful guitar player here,
Yeah.
Wendell B. Floyd.
Right on, Wendell.
Flow Music.
Yeah.
And the last piece we just played was Unchanged. And that was one that we came up in, one of our rehearsal sessions, we just came up in, everybody sat down, and respectively, that's what we came up with.
That's beautiful. Now, your music is available. That's what I want to talk about now, is where people can hear, where the Jazz on My Mind viewers can hear more of your music. Give me the website, give me all the information where we can follow the Muzaholics.
You can go to iTunes and look up the Muzaholics. So everybody, tell your family, your friends,
everybody,
even your enemies, tell them to go to iTunes. Your mother, your father, all of them. Right? Tell them to go to iTunes, look up the Muzaholics, and you'll see
spelling for them. So that
oh yeah, I'm sorry. It's unique spelling, M-U-Z-A. So that's Muzaholic, just like H-O-L-I-C. So that's right there at iTunes. And then we have Perfect Love, and that's under Nathan Jacobs on iTunes. And then you can find us on Reverb Nation. So www.reverbnation.com/The Muzaholics. You can follow us on Twitter at The Muzaholics, and you can like our Facebook page at The Muzaholics. So just put in The Muzaholics in your search engine, and you'll locate us.
Are you gentlemen going to be appearing anywhere in the tri-state area? Any gigs coming up anytime soon? Anything?
Absolutely. I'll let you talk about October 17th.
Give us some information, Jerry.
October 17th. It's a thing we call the Analog Station. This month we're going to be hosting at the Warm Daddies.
That's right. Yeah,
yes.
That's right. That's a big thing.
Very big. Yes.
Yeah.
It's Gospel Mondays. It's doors open at 7:00. You can get tickets in advance. $15. Children, how old under?
10 and under is free.
10 and under is free. $20 at the door.
All right. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, you can follow the Muzaholics. Just log on to their Facebook page. Check out their website. Their music is out of sight. I am so privileged to have you gentlemen performing before the Jazz on My Mind audience.
Thank you.
You know, we thank you. All right, stick around. Ladies and gentlemen, the Muzaholics. All right. Be sure to join us next week, ladies and gentlemen, as we're going to have a great jazz chat with an outstanding vocalist from right here in the Wilmington, Delaware area. Her name is Linda Smalls. Also, we're going to feature a video performance of the great jazz saxophonist Vince Ledier, and we're also going to have on here with us in person Alfie Moss and Dexter Kuntz of the Alfie Moss Dexter Kuntz Project fame. I call them the heart and soul of jazz. We're going to have them next week with a chat, and also we're going to show a video performance of one of their big shows from a time ago. Ladies and gentlemen, right now I want to have Linda and Marian come on up. All right, watch your step, ladies. Come on in here. All right. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, before we go, I'd like to thank our fantastic crew. I'd like to thank Shellyn Handy, also Bernard Parker, and our director, Mr. Vincent Atkins. I'm Richard Blackwell. On the behalf of Linda Sobieski, also her mom, Marian Allen, and the Muzaholics, we want to thank each and every one of you for watching Jazz on My Mind. All right.